right, we're here. We're here. You know what time it is.
Yes, I'm Demetrius,
And I'm Demetrius,
and meet for them.
the Blurred City podcast.
All right, so we are here with our Titan-sized Godzilla Kong: The New Empire review, a movie that we just finished watching yesterday. Day of this recording, it's currently Saturday. I texted you immediately after I got out of the theater. You were still in it, and then as soon as you got out, you texted me. So this is the movie review I'm super excited for.
You already knew what time it is. As soon as I saw you text me, I immediately shut my phone right back off because the credits were just about to get started. We were in for it.
All right, so before we get into this movie review, let's get into that legal sequel.
All right, the purpose of this podcast is to explore digital and print media. All sources we reference is owned by their respective companies, and our thoughts and opinions are strictly our own and reflect no biases or corporate agendas, except for this episode. Your discretion is 100% advised.
All right, so for the pre-spoiler chat, we did an episode 2 weeks ago. It's the Godzilla Kong essentially preview. We talked about the MonsterVerse, the whole evolution of Godzilla, and the Toho different eras. We did mention Kong a little bit. Just for the movies that, if you haven't seen the movie yet, if you want to kind of catch up, have an idea of what's going on. First movie, Godzilla 2014. Then you have Godzilla, King of the Monsters. Then you have Kong Skull Island. The order of those two might be a bit reversed, but it really
is.
Okay, yeah. So it doesn't matter super much. It just kind of ties in one to the other. Yeah, if you watch Skull Island, it teases Ghidorah in King of the Monsters. So with that, then there's Godzilla versus Kong, and then you kind of lead into this one. Anything else people really need to know going in?
I mean, you just really need to watch those 5 movies. But if you want some extra content, there's the Skull Island Netflix animated series that's out on Netflix, and then also there's the Monarch series that's on Apple TV. So if you're fiending for extra MonsterVerse tomfoolery, then there you go.
Yeah, so just kind of with that, a few of the monsters, well, one of them is a spoiler into it, but we have the Scar King, and then there's another one that's also a spoiler. So a lot of it, I would just say, takes place on Hollow Earth, and we get a lot of new Titans introduced. So I'll say it like that.
Not only a lot of Titans introduced, there's some Titans that you get a return of.
Yes. So, but that's in the spoiler part. So let's get into it. Godzilla Kong, New Empire. Let's go.
All right. You know what time it is. All right. So it actually just starts off with our boy in Hollow Earth, young Kong. Well, actually, he not young anymore because he gray. He's seasoned out here, and he just out here big chilling. You see him running from some ops. The ops decide to gang up against him, and this man decided to pull out his intelligence card immediately. Like this man pulling some Batman level traps, some Jigsaw level shenanigans. It's like, oh, hey, come, step on this branch real quick. One of them does, immediately gets spiked. It's like, oh yeah, let me just hit this wall real quick, causing a landslide, murk the rest of them. And then when other ones try to pull up, he just pulls out one of their dead homies, said, all right, you want to come see me? Ripped in half like Bane, drenched himself in their blood. It was like, what's up? What's up?
And they ran off.
But it just shows that, hey, Kong, when he's in Hollow Earth, listen, he him. Like, you just don't pull up on this one op, okay?
Dude, there's so many parts later. Kong was on timing in the movie.
Not only was he on timing, I don't know about you, but this was probably the most human I ever seen of this ape. I'm like, hold up, he's showing way too many emotions, and I could feel it.
That's what I really loved about this movie. Something that we can get into deeper, but how they treat it, we always talk about in these types of movies how they treat the humans, and in this one I felt like the humans, instead of being a big subplot that takes away, a lot of it was they were driving the narrative for the monsters, which I really appreciated, because it felt like it was just a Kong story, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So with that, he's going back, he's eating one of his prey. And then he kind of like hears a noise, and at first it sounds similar to either him or Godzilla, and then he drops his food. But first we see a cameo from Doug, the crocodile type creature. But then we see it's yeah, we see it's like a toad-like thing, and it's like you're like, oh, Kong is lonely, which is crazy because at the start of Godzilla Kong versus Kong the last movie, we saw him a similar situation where he was lonely. He was stuck on Skull Island. Like the start of the movie, he made a spear out of a tree, threw it at the thing because he was like, yo, this isn't real. I want to get up out of here. I want to find my own people. But being in Hollow Earth, none of his people at the time of the movie, we don't see him. But getting deeper into that, so with it, he kind of comes back, and they're like, the narrative of the movie is, hey, there's a lot of Hollow Earth that we haven't explored yet. So my cousin, Dr. Jolene, was in there explaining this, and she was like, so Godzilla, who has some, here we go. Godzilla, they were like, yo, he's protecting the surface world, and we see him like just destroy this crab. And then Kong, he's in Hollow Earth, and they not cross it. Like, even though they teamed up last movie, they promised not to cross turfs. So with that, Godzilla takes out Scylla, and then he chills in the Roman Colosseum.
You're darn right. Like, what's a better throne for my boy? All right, go into the Roman Colosseum, and I'm just big chilling. It's like, hey. And if I was every single human, I was just like, look, just leave my boy alone. Just let him be. Let him be, and he will not be a problem. But unfortunately, spoiler alert, they don't do that. They don't do that at all. Because what ends up happening is that they end up getting like some signals, and it was just kind of a bunch of signals. They caused Gia, who's like the main girl who's like bonded with Kong throughout the entire few films. She's like, oh, hold on, I'm getting these signals too. Hey, let's get my moms, let's get Eileen, and let's get our boy.
Yeah.
And our other boy,
Bernie and Trapper.
Yep, let's get our boys Bernie and Trapper out here, and let's go solve this thing, man. And as they do, they decide to pull up back.
Yeah.
They go up to Hollow Earth. My boy Bernie, he out here having like 15 different types of seizures while going down there. And
that scene was so funny.
Yep, because you see him, it's like Trapper just like, hey, you good with try to give him thumbs up. You see this man like shaking, trying to pull up a thumbs up, and then he immediately turns into a thumbs down. I'm like, listen, Bern, I'm with you, fam. I'm with you, because if that was me, I'd be the same.
It reminded me of the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 movie when Rocket and Yondu were like in the ship and they were experiencing that travel. That was really funny. So essentially this movie there's 3 different storylines taking place that all converge towards the end. So the first one is Kong finding his home. Second one, which we kind of touched on, humans revive Mothra. And then the third one is Godzilla telling everyone that the rent is due. So with that, we see the signals, they're spiking. And Bernie figures out that it's essentially an SOS because all the times that the spikes occurred previously were with big Titan events, like Mothra arriving. I forgot what the second one was, but it was essentially like an
Ghidorah coming up.
Yeah, so with that, Godzilla, he gets up out the Roman Colosseum, goes to France, and like, I'm just gonna spoil the award that he's gonna get, the Debo Award. He went to a nuclear reactor and was like, this is all mine. I'm leveling up.
Yep, he's like, this is some delicious radiation. Of course, the humans, they decide to interfere, and what do they get for their injustice? They get little broed. They get sit on a t-shirt packing, and then Godzilla's just not done. He pulls up in Antarctica to fight young Tiamat.
That was not right.
And that was probably even more disrespectful because he's like, hey, Tiamat, pull yourself out of here. It's like, hey, yo, what you doing on my block? Huh? What you doing up here?
The rent is due. I kind of need this energy, this radiation. So I'm about to take your home. If you want to fight me, you can die. but
And unfortunately, he does, and he just gets like you don't see it, but it's like as soon as Tiamat just starts covering Godzilla's mouth, and you see Godzilla turn blue,
it's over.
it's like oh, and then it cuts, and then you just see body chunks just floating up to the surface. It's like, oh Lord.
And this is his first level up. So they're like saying, wherever Tiamat's domain was, it was something about the electromagnetism of the Earth and how it receives the sun radiation. It's like the most radiated place on Earth, essentially. So Godzilla just gets in there, starts chilling. So he rests for a while. So going back to Kong, you want to talk about violating people. So Kong, there's a sinkhole, because one of the monarch places gets attacked. When he has to go back up because he has like an infected tooth. So they fix that tooth. It kind of ties in with the human, but Gia, who is part of the Iwi tribe, again, they're connected with the Kongs and the Titans, has that connection. So he gets his tooth fixed. That's where we meet Trapper. Then he goes back in along with the rest of the humans, goes his own way. And then when he goes into the sinkhole, he runs into Suko, who I was going to call Diddy Kong, but I found his name this morning. So I will call him by his proper name. He earned it.
At least he was better than me because I kept calling him little bro, especially after what you about to tell him.
And he's like, the kid is lonely. And then he's like, okay, let me help you out. But the dude bites him. He's like, yo, this is the first time I've seen one of my kind. And like forever, I thought I was alone. So he runs up to him and then he gets jumped by the rest of the apes. So like a lot of them have like the red markings on them to kind of show that they're part of the Scar tribe, essentially. So he gets jumped and they start fighting. And then Suko, who you're thinking from the beginning because of all the trailers that he's already on their side, is not. And he starts attacking Kong. And this moment, like when it happened, I bust out laughing in the theater. He takes Suko by the foot and starts beating the other apes.
When I tell you, my theater was dying. I was too, because I'm like, it's like anything that's in my hands is a weapon, especially you, little bro. Bam, bam, bam. Like, oh, you apes come at me too. And then he chucks Suko at like one in the distance and then knocks him out.
Damn, Kong was violating this entire movie. So, then there was one ape that he knocked over a cliff, but he saved him. And then once he pulled him up, the dude was like, "Okay, I'm gonna stab you." And Kong just like, Spartacus kicks him off. He was like, "Hey, so don't get off my boat." And there's another one that was running away, and then he pulled what was it? What's the villain off of? Was it Ramses off of Game of Thrones?
Yeah, remember
When he hit him with the arrow, he took the rock and straight lost.
Kong's a D1 quarterback. He always gets his mark.
So with that, Suko, he runs up on him again. I think, yeah, he does have his axe at this because he pulls it out before going into the sinkhole. He was like, "Hey, man, lead me to your people or you know what's up." I mean, look, if you pick me up by my leg and you beat people with me, I got to do what you say.
And unfortunately, he does, but it don't go well for little bro. He's always like, hey, come to this water, I'm like, let's drink, let's drink, get yourself a nice good wash, little boy, my boy. And as soon as he does, like, oh hey, a giant water monster decided to pull up on Kong. It's like, oh yeah, it's time for me to make my getaway.
Nope.
And then like it cuts away with Suko just running in the forest. And then he gets smacked on the back of the head by the axe. No. He trips over the axe.
And he gets smacked with
he attacks him with the head of the monster. And then Kong just pulling up with the rest of the body. He's like, wait, where you think you going, little bro? You thought this was sweet right here? You thought I was sweet?
It was. So we see like a little bonding session of like he's eating, and you kind of see that it's actually an interesting tie-in to like kind of how abuse victims are. Because you see that Suko really doesn't trust Kong whatsoever. So he's hungry and he sees Kong just snacking, and he's like, okay, let me try to ease over to see if I can get some. Then Kong offers him, and he's like, no. But then he just tosses it to him. He's like, whatever. And then you see him like his heart starting to open up a bit. So that was really interesting. Quickly going back to the humans, all we do is essentially one of the dudes gets eaten by a tree, which like shook me in the theater. I was like,
Yeah,
oh crap.
I was like, the trees are ops too. Nah, nah, get me out of here.
So with that, they run across an Iwi temple, and we see that the Iwi tribe used to worship Moth. Well, they still worship Mothra. So Gia, being who she thought was the only part of her tribe, remaining member of her tribe because they got wiped out on Skull Island. She's able to like kind of just like push the button, connect it. There's this like force field or imaginary force field that's there. They're able to go through and they run into the Iwi tribe of Hollow Earth. And it's still essentially was the story is that they believe that a descendant or survival of Skull Island of that Iwi tribe would be able to resurrect Mothra, who we saw die in King of the Monsters when Ghidorah eviscerated her. So
Yeah, and with that, just continuing on, it's like she gets like she's able to like bond with the tribe. Mama's like, man, hold on, I think it might be good for her to stay here. And but I really don't want her to go, but
I have something to say about the end of the movie. But keep on.
oh yeah. I'm pretty sure we have the same thoughts. But like when it comes to that, and then we cut to Godzilla just straight like he out here in his cocoon. He's like, okay, I leveled up. Now it's time for me to pull up, bust out the ice and Super Saiyan Rose.
My God. Yeah.
And I just lost that. I'm like, he gone Rose. It's over. It's wraps for everybody.
Yes. So with that, we see that the Iwi tribe was the one sending out the signal. Originally, I thought it was like a bad signal for who pulled up later, but they were saying that if they need to call Godzilla to help, and then they go through the history, and this gave me even more respect for Godzilla. So it's essentially like they were saying that the Titans protected nature, the great apes protected Earth, but then there was this one ape, the Scar King, who wanted to take over essentially the surface world, and like Godzilla soloed them. That was crazy because I thought originally in Godzilla versus Kong, when they were telling the story, that it was like the tribe of the apes versus like a group of Godzillas. But then when she was telling the story, it was the Scar King and all his people versus just Godzilla. And I was like, this is the GOAT. This is the GOAT.
Godzilla, man. And yeah, so basically it turns out like, yeah, Godzilla, he pulled up on the entire Scar King tribe and then buried them all underground. It's like, all right, that's crazy. They're done. Y'all going underground. All right, you good. And then apparently Scar King took control of somebody else, some other Titan, and then everybody just went off their merry way. So we cut to Kong and Suko. They arrive at the cavern outside inside Mordor, and good heavens, this is horrific because like I don't know about you, but I started getting some reparation type vibes. I was getting some 1805 vibe.
Yes. When that was going, I was like, yeah, you got monkeys working.
Yeah, you got monkeys slaving, and then you had like one tried to pick up a giant rock, drops it, and then gets drop kicked by another ape. I'm like, nah. Kong tried to help. He's like, nah. But okay. Here we go. All right, so Kong just pulls up. He's like, hey, what you doing? And then the prisoner, the prison guard, he just kept spouting. He kept talking his mess to Kong. He's like, hey, what you doing here, bro? No, why you talking out of line? I'm gonna beat you, and then hit him. One punch, sleep.
My theater was cracking up when Kong put that man to sleep. That's what I was saying. Like for the Debo Award, I was like, I don't know if I want to give it to Godzilla or give it to Kong because it was like the rent is due, man. He put that man to sleep. So then with that, one of the dudes, one of the apes, they run up and like, Star King, this dude is coming, and then you just see this man pull up off the throne with his whole like cavalcade and his weapon, and then he just like what's going on here? So he drops down, all the apes bow. You're like, oh crap. They really scared of this dude. And like over the course of the scene, I'm like, why are they I get why they're scared of him, because like he's the king, and like obviously like with alphas and like real life nature, you bow down unless one person can step up to him. But I was like, they seem abnormally scared of him. So the dude walks up, he goes to Zuko, is like, what are you doing? And then like Zuko is like, friend, he's like, he's just a boy, my lord. He's just a boy. And he's like, okay, I'll leave him alone. I'll leave him alone. Looks at Kong, kicks the dude into the lava. I was like, what? You violate him.
And what I thought was like, hold up, that's like Zuko's parent? Is that dad and mom?
I think the Scar King is his dad, because we see later that he had like concubines. So with that, I think it was his friend that was like hunting originally that kind of ran away. But that was sad.
Yeah, just kicked straight into the lava. Zuko just like, no. And then Kong's like, all right, nah, you done messed up, boy.
But
I get it.
It ties in. He looks at his tooth and he just laughs, and then he does like the villain laugh where all the his like subordinates have to laugh too, and then they get into it.
And of course, as the plantation owner, he decided to pull out a whip.
Yes,
he pulled out a whip. That's how I knew. That's how I knew we was in plantation times. Nah. And he kept beating the Kong. He's like, yeah, nah, I'm faster than you. I'm more agile than you. Plus, I got this bone whip with the crystal at the end. And he straight up slashing little bro. He's like, oh, nah. You gonna work for me today, boy. I'm gonna teach you your place, Toby. Bing, 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 bing. And then Kong decided to get a good lick in.
Yep.
He got one good look in it, and Sergeant's like, oh, I see this boy got heart.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool, respect. Pull out my pull out my little weight. Pull out my little weight. And then we get a nice pull up, like from the lava, you see blue eyes. Then out comes the ancient titan known as Shimo.
Yes, it's a quadruped, but much bigger than Kong and much bigger than Godzilla if it were to stand on 2 feet. So we find out, the humans find out that like compel her to do what he wants with pain. And then also she's the reason for the ice age that occurred in humanity. So it's like, oh, she's like that. So just with that, she breathes like her ice breath on Kong's axe, and he's like trying to stop it, but it freezes his hand and he gets frostbite. And yeah, they're about to take him out, and then Zuko's like, dude, you gotta dip this way. So he's able to escape. Again, Jujutsu Kaisen levels, because Kong was getting jumped this entire movie. Scar King sends his goons after them. He does the traps because he's a Rambo. And then Zuko is able to help him. He runs back into the humans. And then one of the projects that Monarch was using was to like kind of improve Kong. So the Infinity Gauntlet with that. So they're able to help him, give him the Infinity Gauntlet. And then we find out that the Iwi tribe is responsible for kind of like the portals in Hollow Earth. So like with the crystals in the Hollow Earth, they're able to control whether they can escape or not. At the same time, we see the revival of Mothra, which was such a beautiful scene. If you want to touch on that.
I was like, it was beautiful because young Gia, she just pulls up on top of the temple, reaches out. Mothra comes back in full golden glory.
Yeah.
And then she flies off into and through one of the portals, and it was beautiful. I was like, baby girl back.
Yeah.
She back. The queen is back. All right. And then we get probably one of the most devious pull-ups of all time. Yeah. So the humans, they're like, okay, like, all right, because one of the goons, he reported to Scar, he's like, hey, I saw a portal. I think we can get out of here. So
awesome. Yeah,
we can get out of here, boss. Let's move out. And then Scar's like, all right, grab Shimo, grab my lightweights. Let's grab my cigars. Let's get it. And they're pulling up. So
grab my plantation.
And then all the humans are like, all right, hey, listen, Kong, you gonna need some help. Like you gonna need some help. And if Godzilla's not gonna come up here, you gonna have to bring him down. So he pulls up into Cairo, Egypt. And this part had me dying because this is probably the most human you ever gonna see a Kong. So he pulls up in Cairo, and then it cuts to Godzilla. He's like, hold on, is that my aunt? And then he leaps off a cliff, and then rushes straight towards Kong.
Dude, this is Gibraltar.
He was in Gibraltar, and he spanned. He was like, oh nah, I told you, little bro. And then he comes out of the water, straight rushing. He's like, I told you not to come back here, little bro.
This next fight, it reminded me of SpongeBob when they were like, how many times do I have to teach you this lesson, old man? And then like Kong is right next to the portal and he sees Godzilla. He's like, yo, hey, chill.
What? It's like, nah, run this way, bro. And it comes one of the most devious fights because they just smack each other. Kong's like, yo, chill. I need your help. Godzilla having none of it.
Godzilla hit this man with a suplex, and I almost left out of my seat.
You did too, because I was like, no, how is he going? When did Godzilla watch WrestleMania? Right after we do that episode?
Dude,
he decided to German suplex this man?
Oh, like suplex. So then, like, Kong was actually giving it to him. I'm not gonna lie. So, like, he was hitting him with obviously the directors of this had to have watched Marvel. A lot of Marvel movies, because there's another scene later that was definitely out of a Marvel movie, but he was hitting him with like when Tony had the Hulkbuster suit and he was
go to sleep. Knocked him out.
He knocked out Godzilla, and then he was just dragging him. He was like, dang it, man, I hate you, man. Or dragging him back to the portal, and Godzilla was like, you dirty monkey.
Nani?
And started charging up for a atomic breath.
His rose Kamehameha is like, I know you are not touching my tail, you filthy. And then he's like, he already destroyed all the pyramids of Giza. Kong running, and then Godzilla's like, oh nah, come back here, little boy. Bam.
Like he kept trying to stomp this man out like Godzilla versus Kong, which is what I really appreciated, like the time.
Yep, and he did. He had him by the foot. He's like, all right, little bro, I told you not to come back here. I'm going to finish you. I'm going to show you what really do.
And then we did our girl.
Mothra comes in, and she stops and like, hey, chill out.
That was really such a cool scene because it was like, she came in like, gosh, honestly, I can't believe I fell in love with you. And then he like sees her, and then he instantly just shuts down, and you see Godzilla just looking at her. Because, like, again, they established that this is essentially his mate. And then the last time that he saw her, she got cooked and gave him the burning Godzilla form. So with that, he sees Kong. And then this goes back to, like, this was really good editing. Because I believe you knew Mothra was in it. And I think I heard it mentioned. But, like, the scene a lot where they're like not yelling, but roaring in the trailer together. Mothra is like right above them, and it's like the trinity of monsters.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, the trio has been fully established. All beef had been squashed because of a woman that's crazy. And she's like, hey, let's do this. And then they pull up in Hollow Earth. They'll pull up just in time for the Scar King to pull in, and then you just see Godzilla rise up out of the ground, and then they do that run that you see in the trailer.
Oh my!
And then Kong just rides on Godzilla's back,
and then they jump, and it's like just out of Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yep, out of Age of Ultron, out of No Way Home. You know that slow mo. They about to hit the first licks,
and then at the same time, the Iwi tribe they use gravity to manipulate the crystal, so they were trying to get the tips to touch. And to close the portal on the crystals. So they close most of them. And then as soon as they do that, there's this cool, just like no gravity scene. And like everyone is just like you're boxing in midair.
Like Dragon Ball Z. It's crazy. So you had Scar King versus Kong, and then you had Godzilla versus Shimo, and you got little bro Zuko versus the one op ape.
And then then Mothra was like webbing certain apes to rocks just so they wouldn't get in the way. So essentially, like, Man, that fight, it's hard to even describe it, but one portal that's left open, Scar King is like, I'm on my way. And then everyone else follows. Kong tries to get his axe at first, but he can't. And then they pop up in Brazil, Rio de Janeiro, I believe. And then just boxing on boxing on the beach, man, that was dope.
Nah, what's even worse is because like when you see like Rio de Janeiro, you see the Jesus statue, you see everybody on the beach minding their own business, and I'm just here like, bro, y'all don't even know what's about to happen. Y'all don't even know. And then you see the waves, they freeze over. Everybody pulls up. Scar King's like, yeah, I'm here now. Shimo, cause the next Ice Age right now.
Dang, that was crazy. Shimo was powerful. I'm the wrong G.
Yep, and then it gets right back to the brawl among brawl. Godzilla actually beating the brakes off Scar King in this one. It's like, nah,
oh yeah,
I got the Infinity Gauntlet now. It's just you and me,
Kong,
bro. Yeah.
And
he's like, it's just you and me, little bro. Mink,
whooping him.
And then of course Shimo, Godzilla, like whenever Scar King tried to tell Shimo, come handle Kong. It's like Godzilla's like, nah, focus on me.
I gotta ask a question. Let's finish the fight first, and then I gotta ask a question about the Scar King. So, yeah, we see a lot of times just like what you mentioned. Like one time, Kong had Scar King, then he got knocked back, and then Scar King was like, "Yo, Shimo, get him!" And Shimo was like running straight up, about to freeze him, and you just see Godzilla burst through one building and then tackle Shimo out of the way. And then at some point they switched partners, and Godzilla was cooking the Scar King.
Oh nah, but even worse was like you see like Godzilla, he charging up, had the hands to the side, like, hold on, are you about to do the final flash? You about to do the final final flash? No, what you about to do, Godzilla? And then he gets stopped, but mostly because of the fact like the crystal that was controlling Shimo gets knocked away.
Yes. So then he's like, you see his desperation to try to get it back because that's the way he controls the super powerful Titan. So then Zuko at this time, he grabs Kong's axe and then goes through the portal as well. And then again, they trade partners. And so like Godzilla fighting Shimo was actually pretty dope because you saw how like he wasn't really struggling, but like just the fact it was more he was tackling because like I felt like Shimo was not taking a lot of damage in like any of the fights whatsoever.
Yeah, I also could think that Godzilla was holding back because like he saw that Scar King was straight up controlling. I was like, nah, see, I know this ain't your fault. But if you keep going, I'm gonna have to put the paws on you.
I just remembered before they went into the portal, Shimo froze Godzilla, and then baby girl Mothra was like, nah, and then unfroze him, and then he burst out with his rose form. But essentially, like Kong and Scar King are fighting again, and then Kong sees the crystal is done, and he's like racing to it, and Scar King is like, absolutely not. And then Zuko pulls up with the axe, boom. And then so, this is where I'm gonna get into my question. So, Kong, once again violating, picks this man up, tosses him into Godzilla, who tail whips him in the air, and Kong catches him with one hand by the neck. And then at this point, Shimo is like, oh my God, I'm free. And then she looks at Godzilla, and Godzilla is like, hey, you either with him or you with us. And like, she looks like, oh.
He's like, do what you gotta do.
Exactly. Freezes this man completely, and then Kong just like destroys him. So with that, is the Scar King on fraud watch?
Ooh.
Because he couldn't handle Kong one. Well, he was decent one-on-one, but most of the time he was fighting, he was so worried about Shimo. And he had to jump a lot. So I don't know if he's a fraud or not.
Oh, dang, that's a good one. He might actually be on fraud watch because every time that he was on the back foot, even from the beginning, he said, nah, get Shimo out here.
Exactly.
From the jumps, like, oh, man, this dirty monkey didn't hit me? Oh, no.
You see, he's the red orangutan but Kong is the black monkey.
Wait, and so that means wait, hold on. If going by that logic, we got the black monkey Kong, but then we got the ginger monkey in the form of Scar King.
Yeah.
And then we get our ally who's also a young ginger out here saving the day against his pops who he knows is wilding out. Oh nah, the parallel. See, the parallels is crazy right now.
There's no way we can do Kingdom of the Planet Apes movie review. Seriously.
Oh nah, cause you already know what time I'm gonna be on. Straight up
So,
after.
but yeah, so with the movie that wraps up, just kind of tying loose ends. So uh Gia, this was the part we were talking about. She's like communicating with the head of the Iwi tribe, and then Dr. Jolene is like, "Oh my gosh, I gotta let her go. I'm gonna miss her because that was like a subplot through it." And then she's like, I'm sad. I'm gonna miss you. And she's like, what's wrong with you, mom? And then she's like, this is your home. And then she comes back with the you are my home. And like literally the people that were sitting next to was like, oh, so that was actually pretty touching. I'm not
It was all right. I mean, I was like, all right, cool. You know, that's cool beans. That's cool beans. Give me back to what everybody else is doing.
gonna.
I don't care nothing about this ain't Godzilla minus one. All right, this ain't Godzilla minus one with the human side plot. I can't.
So speaking of the goat, he goes back to Rome and he's just like, yo, I'm chilling. Y'all leave me alone. And then
I'm going back to sleep.
And then with that, we will no longer call him Kong. King Kong pulls up with Shimo, Suko back to Mordor, and it's like he done turned the ops against him, and it's like she's on his side now. So he's the ruler of the subterranean Hollow Earth at this point.
Yep, he now officially king. And you know, like Shimo, she willingly with him because like she let go like a dog. Like, hey, here's some head pats. Thank you. And then you get like the nice roar with Suko's like, yeah,
Nah,
I would be king out here. And then the movie's over.
yeah, so that was dope. Any big things you want to touch about outside of that? Again, like I said, with the human aspect of it, I like how they were just the engine to keep the movie going. I feel like in a few other movies, particularly with like not Attack of the Monsters, King of All Monsters, with the eco terrorist thing, I was like, this is a really dumb story plot. But with this, again, it just kind of moved it along so we could get to Mothra.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's definitely like one of the things. Like again, I say like, hey, this ain't Godzilla minus one. I could care any less about these humans, but at least I understand. Like, hey, they're out here trying to make sure that the movie keeps going and we get baby girl back because of you. So
Yes.
you get your props this time.
So yeah, kind of just with that, man, this movie caught me off guard, like coming out, because I remember they talked about a potential sequel after Godzilla versus Kong, the first one, and then there was this like complete quiet, and then all of a sudden they just dropped a teaser trailer for it, like kind of like the end of last year, and I was like, it's coming out already? I was like, when did they come next? But like for this to kind of just like deliver the way it did, I was super excited. Like if you're looking for Godzilla minus one, it is not that. But for like the little boy brains in all of us, where it's just like you would take your action figures and be like, oh, this is fighting this. Oh, it hit every nail for me.
It showed it hit every single like one of those for me. The only thing missing is a giant robot, but considering we got Mecha Kevin from the last movie, I'm kind of pleased that. And plus, we got Infinity Gauntlet Kong and Rose Godzilla. So that's all I need to see.
So, what do you think is next? There is something in it that I thought was really interesting when they mentioned Tiamat. For a second, I saw the word destroyer. But I think it was like to describe Tiamat.
Yeah,
The fact that destroyer was so prevalent, I was like, there's no way they would do that. But if they were to make another one, which I feel like they will, destroyer. That's what I'm excited for.
yeah. But then also, if you look like when they're doing the whole cave painting part, you see like just a giant winged, like one-headed monster that they say like comes from the stars. I'm just like, hold on, that's supposed to be Space Godzilla?
Mm,
That's supposed to be the clone?
that'd be
Hey,
interesting.
yeah, so I mean, we could go for either side of that. It's like
Because
you have to get the
they did describe Godzilla as the monster that ate a star or something, like how the name
Yeah.
translated. So that would be interesting. I'm trying to think, because the way Legendary has done it so far, the only movie where they've taken Toho monsters was King of the Monsters, if I'm thinking correctly.
yes.
because the first one was Mutos. The second one, Attack of the Monsters, had obviously all the big ones with Rodon, Ghidorah, Mothra. Kong, I feel like since it's not Toho owned, you can just do whatever. And then with Godzilla versus Kong, Mechagodzilla is one, obviously. And then for this one, I feel like both the Scar King and Shima were their own creation,
Yeah, they're American exclusive.
which actually worked. So I'm not mad at that at all. So I would definitely be interesting if they do go back to that route. I feel like they want to do one more crossover. If you're going to do Godzilla versus Kong, then you do Godzilla X Kong. What could be that next threat? But yeah, Space Godzilla or Destroyer. Ooh, what you got? What you got?
GMK, Godzilla, Mothra, Kong.
Ooh.
Hold on. But wait. But that version of Godzilla was a demon and was the main antagonist. No. We can't. Well, we can keep that titling, but we can't make my boy a demon. We can't do that.
I'm trying to think, since it's been 10 years and then we just hit the 70-year anniversary of Godzilla overall, I wonder if they would kill him. But with American franchises, we gotta bleed that rock for all the blood money it can create.
No.
Because like they already have like a Kong replacement if they wanted to go the Suka route, but there is no Son of Godzilla yet. So, but is that when we start to jump the fence? That's kind of my only question. Because like, yeah,
I mean, like when it comes to that, like if we're going to jump the fence, like if you think about it, it's like to introduce kind of the son of Godzilla, like, and in this entire franchise, Godzilla, he's just been him.
Yeah.
And he's just been the only him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how feasible it would be to just introduce like his child out of the blue.
Mm-hmm.
Like they would have to go through some hoops and hurdles to explain like, hey, where did this mini Godzilla come from? Unless we're talking about Zilla.
Oh, that's not.
I mean, he can just come in for like a quick cameo and get absolutely decimated like he always does.
Yes. Huh. Yeah. So with that, I'm just thinking because obviously the Showa era was like about 20 plus years, but then all the other eras after were less than 10. But again, that was specifically Toho. With this being legendary, I feel like they're just gonna, I don't know what like the contract rights are, but like with Sony and their Spideyverse, they have to keep making stuff every so often. So I don't think with this making so much money and having so much hype, they would just let the rights go to it.
Oh yeah, nah, they're gonna keep going till until the money stops coming in.
But yeah, now that you help with that, kind of if you think about the evolution of the MonsterVerse, the first one was super grounded. Like again, it kind of was more like the 1954 Godzilla, where it was like he's a mystery, you barely see him, and then he's revealed at the end. Like the roar was one of the most iconic moments in like the whole universe for that. And then you see this one, and like we said, he's doing suplexes now. So it's very action. So I wonder how far it goes before it's like, okay, this is slightly silly. That's my only thing.
Probably whenever the humans start creating some Pacific Rim mechs and start trying to like, all right, it's time for us to go handle these two again. Or they start adding in like Biolant or Space Godzilla.
So yeah, I just like, or they try to do the drop kick.
Oh Lord, if that ever happens, then it's over.
That might be the last
franchise.
All right, so with that, we can get into award. Ooh. All right, so for our first award, this can only go to one person, the King Me Award. Kong is officially, I'm calling him King Kong because in this movie, he completely upgraded. Like he was giving it to everybody. He had that energy. Like I say, he was putting people to sleep. He was violating Zuko, using him as a weapon, put Scar King down. So he got the final blow on the main villain. So, I mean, Kong was, again, on timing. So I have to call him King Kong now, officially. Like if they do another movie, he has to be called King Kong in it.
Agreed. And while King Kong is up here, let's go ahead and give him the little broing award, because he he out here little broing everybody. He little broed Zuko. Like that was perhaps the ultimate little bro moment. He knocked out Godzilla for like a split second, which was I'm like, ooh, dang, not to my goat, but I understand, but not to my goat. And then of course, as you mentioned, like getting the final kill off on Scar King,
Yeah.
and straight up little broing him, little broed all of his homies, little bro at every turn he was out here. So you got the little bro award.
All right, for the next award, this is an upgrade on the We Jumping Now. It is the Jump Jutsu Kaisen Award. This has to go to the Scar King because he was jumping people. Well, Kong got jumped the entire movie. Him and both Godzilla were getting the Gojo treatment. But I mean, Scar King, he pulled out Shimo when it was supposed to be a one-on-one. He got his apes like going after, like handling his lightweight and stuff like that. So at no point did he ever want a real one-on-one fight. And then even the fact that he recruited Shimo again with the Gojo thing, he was gearing up to go after Godzilla. So that just shows the fear he had in his heart, and that's why he's gone.
Yep. And I would like, hey, let's put a fraud watch alert on Scar King, because now that you mention it, yeah, nah, you ain't it, little bro. But we gotta give the next one is the lock-in award for a person who's been locked in this entire time. And I'm actually gonna have to give this one to Mothra. She was locked in, and she out here protecting all the humans, but she was mostly locked in with getting our two boys to squash the beef.
Yeah.
And as soon as the two squashed their beef, you got to jump Jutsu Kaisen levels.
Yeah.
So if it wasn't for her, it might just have been Godzilla versus Star King and Shimo, and who knows? Maybe he would have gotten the dub, maybe not. But I can definitely say Kong put in his weight, so Mothra definitely gets the award for that one.
And speaking of jump jutsu, they did jump the Scar King at the end. It was 3-on-1, but he earned it, so that's why he got that award. For my final award, the Debo Award. Like I mentioned earlier, it has to go to our GOAT, Godzilla. He literally like rolled up everywhere he went and was like, "This is mine." Rolled up in Rome, he was like, "The Colosseum is mine. I don't care about this human creation. I'm sleeping. This is my home. Don't touch me. Don't mess with me." Then he rolled up in France. He was like, "I need all that nuclear energy." What he did to Tiamat was a disgrace. Just killed him in his own home. Tiamat did not deserve what happened. Just took all that radiation for himself, and then just again with Kong, he was like, "It's on site, dude. I'm fighting you on the spot." So again, he was Deboing everybody. So I have to give it to Godzilla.
Yes, and to my GOAT, to my one, you have to stay up here, my friend, because you did not. The next award is called "I'm Going Super Saiyan," but nah, this ain't the right name. You didn't go Super Saiyan. You went beyond. You went to Super Saiyan Rose. You decided to say, you know what? Nah, whatever's coming, I need to be more than prepared. You decided to get your 10 years of training in the hyperbolic time chamber. You decided to rest up, decided to cook like Frieza did, and he became black, but you went Rose. And then that was all you needed. Because once you went Rose, you pulled up on Kong like it was like rent was due. Like he pulled up on the ops. When he pulled up on Scar King, he's like, "Nah, you about to get this final Rose flash or the final Rose Kamehameha." When he pulled up on Shimo, he's like, "Hey, listen, I can put the pause on you anytime I want to, but only because you are under control, I'm letting you slide. But bro, do not make me have to kill you.
It's like, don't forget I'm him.
Because I will show you that you may be an ancient titan, he may be a king, but I am a god." So just take this award.
All right. So with that awards handed out, we can get into the tiers. So if you'll be able to read off the tiers, my friend.
All right. So for the F tier, these going based on the kaijus, on kaiju names. So for F tier, we get Kevin. Nobody wants to be Kevin out here. For the D tier, we have to go with Scylla for getting the Muto Part 2 treatment. For C tier, we get the Muto for getting the Muto treatment. For being the first. For the B tier, you have to go with Queen Mothra. No explanation needed. For the A tier, you have to go to the King Kong. But for the S tier, you have to go to Goatzilla. So what you giving this movie?
Ooh, I know what it is. So I cannot compare it to Godzilla minus one because it's two different genres and cater towards two different fan bases. But if I do think of it, minus one is like a S without thinking about it. So for this one, I have to give it an A, the King Kong. I think everything out of like again a monster movie mayhem is exactly what I wanted from the movie. The fights, they kept the humans to it as bare a minimum as they can. There were moments where I was like, please let's get back to Kong, please let's get back to Godzilla. But at the same time, when they got to it and when they had the fights in this movie, oh my gosh, it's just like that kid in me. So definitely gotta give it an A tier. You
Yeah, so you actually touched up on it pretty well. I think my only gripe was that the humans again took up too much spotlight, but they didn't have as much emotional weight as we did in minus one. But other than that, phenomenal. Delivered on everything. We got Godzilla collecting ramp. We got King Kong finally assuming the throne, but knowing what's up, and we got the return of baby girl Ride or Die, the absolute legend herself, Queen Mothra. But yeah, I'm giving it the King Kong tier.
All right, cool. All right, so with all the fun that we just had in the kaiju movie Monster Mayhem, the past week or so, there was a development, something that I actually don't really want to talk about, but because it deals with Marvel and we're a nerdy podcast, we're going to slightly touch on it. Over the past week, Nelson Petz, who is a Disney investor, well, to give a little bit of background, there's like a proxy board stuff, high level business bureaucrat politicking with like just trying to get more board seats with the Disney thing. So, but with that, he made the comment of, why do I have to have a Marvel movie that's all women, in reference to Captain Marvel, and then also why do I have to have a Marvel movie with an all black cast, in reference to the $1 billion movie Black Panther. Meech, do you want to start or do you want me to start?
Nah, you had to start because if I do, there's no amount of cooking that can follow it up.
All right. So with that being demon time, this dude is 81-year-old billionaire. And to start, so when we did the Marvel's movie review, right? We named it the Incel Free movie review. And you want to know who made the most comments about the title of that episode? The people that it was targeted to. Again, I'm so annoyed. I don't think the movie was a perfect movie. I don't think it was great. I think it was good. It was solid for what it was. There were definitely underdeveloped plots with the villain, and then also it felt like it just wanted to get the X-Men in there. So, but I did love the performances of all the three main leads. Speaking of which, I'm so tired of people like just like seeing, oh, it has a woman leading the movie, it has to be woke. I'm so sick of tired of hearing what woke people say woke in the year 2024, like it's such a thing. And I mean, just even with this dude sticking towards it, again, when he grew up in a time when the only time he interacted with black people was if they were like driving his car or cleaning his house. And then also grew up in a time where the only time they really cared about women's opinion is with what they were making for dinner or more intimate setting. This is just ignorant comments because first of all, Captain Marvel made $1 billion, and then also Black Panther made $1 billion, and Black Panther has been nominated for multiple Oscars. So it's literally one of your best movies produced. And then if we want to get again into phase one of the Marvel movies, which were led by, again, white men, not all of them were great. Again, we love it for what it is. Do you have a audience of a lot of people, and you know, you cater to different ones. Obviously, like sometimes when you try to push an agenda, it can feel one way, but there's so much to explore with Marvel. And like even Stan Lee, the creator who created these characters, recognized that. So it's just annoying. So even like with Blurred City, obviously Blurred is a combination of Black nerd, but it's not that we're just catering to Black nerds. We're showing that anybody of any demographic can be part of the nerd community. And it's okay whether that's within your community where you don't feel accepted or outside of it. And this is just annoying. And Bob isn't off the hook either, Mr. Iger, but this is just ignorant if you want to take over.
Nelson Pets. Where do I begin? Firstly, sir, you were born in 1942, so we already know what your agenda is, and I'm not even gonna say your political party because that'll start getting us all canceled too. But you know what? You decided to show out this time, sir. You wanna know how you showed out? You showed your whole face today, sir. You got to understand that the times is different. We ain't your regular porch monkeys anymore. We are beyond you, sir. And I'm sure at any time in any place, that all female cast can pull up on you at any time. The all black cast could pull up at any time.
One thing I want to note, that is actually incorrect. That it's an all female cast and all black cast.
Thank you. I was about to get into that. I was like, yeah, the all women cast. You mean the same all women cast that had our boy Ross in there? Crazy. Or the all black cast when we had Ross in there? Oh, dang, that's crazy. But yeah, you showed your whole face. The whole world know what you about now. I'm sure your 10 children, and yes, you do have 10 children. I just double checked that. I'm sure they either, well, I'm pretty sure the older ones are probably much in line with you because you'll hate poison the whole well. But I'm sure that my hope is that your other children and your grandchildren, the ones who are who've been born much later, haven't had a chance to be infected by your philosophy, your idiocy. But just know that, again, at the end of the day, those people you look down upon, they running this country right now. So you best get with the times, or the time's gonna get you. The clock is ticking.
And then there's one part of the quote that I forgot to mention. He said, like, after he said, "Oh, why do I have to have these all cast?" And then he immediately went, "Not that I have a problem with that."
Yeah, you backpedaled way too quickly on that because you knew what you said was crazy.
I mean, I have one black friend.
Nah, get out of here, or I have to send you.
Oh my gosh. So that's all the space we can give that ignorance on this podcast. So I hope you don't get the seats, but probably will because life is stupid right now. So with that, we can get into the what's hot and start to wrap up the episode. So Meech, what do you got?
All right. So in terms of anime, we got One Piece, Ninja Kamui, both going crazy, Solo Leveling, Good Heavens. At the time of this episode, the newest episode 12, hadn't dropped yet. But that episode 11, let's just say, man, our boy did not have to go through that. He did not have to get hit with a level 3 rage art. He did not have to get juggled in the air. He did not have to get the Broly treatment.
That was egregious.
Unnecessary. Also, the Dragon Ball Super manga is officially on indefinite hiatus after the passing of the GOAT. But if you want to have like more Dragon Ball content, there is this fan manga that I'm reading right now called Dragon Ball Kakume. It's a French Dragon Ball manga. The art is on timing, and the story is actually really great so far. They updated, like, whenever they update it, I'll keep updating. I'm making sure, but they just released a new chapter. So yeah. Now getting on to animation, X-Men 97, to me, my black men, because you know what type of timing this last episode was on, especially with the Inferno arc. The Bad Batch, if you've seen this last episode, good heavens, they already retconned a whole book. They retconned a canon novel. I don't know how to feel about it, but watch it to know which book I'm talking about. And then Invincible.
I just finished it before we started recording. Oh boy.
So they introduced the character, from the most infamous moment in Invincible history. Now, what's gonna happen? Is it gonna happen? You'll have to wait a while. there's a bunch of more trauma that some characters gonna have to go through before we get to that moment.
Meech, I'm actually afraid. I think the simps, when that moment happened, might have the most down bad behavior.
Oh no, it's already happening.
Oh my God.
Look, I went on TikTok this morning and like just randomly scrolling through, and like one of the posts was like, hey, if this character was casted in live action, who would you pick? And they all picked Sasha Cohen, Supergirl from the Flash movie.
Oh my gosh.
And all the comments was like, listen, I wish I was Mark.
That's down bad.
So it's already too late. It's already wraps for humanity. But moving on before I
Please.
we got Shogun on Hulu. Phenomenal. Keep watching it. It's only gonna get crazier. And then Chucky is returning on April 10th.
Ooh.
So we about to get our boy back. And then in terms of comics, the Miles Morales series reached its 300th issue, and let's just say there's a tribute to Akira Toriyama in there. So yeah, that's all I need to tell you about it. Just go read it. And then you got Spawn. They reached 351 issues, and it's a whole new landscape for the Spawn mythos, which is something I've totally seen before, but it's whatever. It's 350, whatever. Superior Spider-Man, stay goated. And then Ultimate Spider-Man, 3 issues in, and I'm just like, when's my next fix? I'm fiending right now. I'm fiending. And then for movies, Immaculate is actually like a really great movie. Stalled Your Girl.
I was going to ask you about that if you wanted to see it. You probably have.
Yeah, I did. It's actually really good. It's actually a really good movie. But now then there's this other movie that I'm pretty sure you saw the trailer for, and like while watching Godzilla, I'm just like, no. It's called Challengers.
It didn't actually come on in my theater, but I've seen that trailer before. I know what you're talking about.
Yep. Yeah, Tom Holland, I'm so sorry, bro. You gonna have to you're gonna hit the gym. Just know the black suit is right there waiting for you.
There's something I want to say, but I gotta tell you offline
Oh Lord.
about it.
And then finally for gaming, Helldivers 2, great. Rise of Ronin is looking fantastic. I haven't gotten it yet. Alone in the Dark's great horror game. And then South Park Snow Day released. So if you're on timing with South Park, you already know what it's gonna be on. But yeah, that's all I got.
All right, cool. So when you mentioned Miles Morales, that made me think the Spider-Verse, The Spider Within, dropped a short video or short film for it. It's like 7 minutes, and it kind of deals with just like stress and anxiety. So that was really cool. I watched it this morning for it. Again, with Invincible, that fourth wall break in the last episode was so funny.
Lord, I was dying. I was dying badly because they did something similar in the comic, but like, of course, like in reference to the comics and how it's structured, but I was not expecting for the animation.
I was like, oh, I got to pay attention. I got to lock in more.
Yeah, I was locked in the rest of the episode. I'm like, hold on.
So with that trailer that we did kind of miss a few weeks ago, The Crow, so the reboot of that with Skarsgård, I would probably see it out of theater, but it definitely looks like a cool reboot. I saw a new Furiosa trailer, and I was like kind of iffy on it at first. But when I saw the new one in the theaters yesterday, I was like, I want to see this new Mad Max movie with Furiosa. It looks good. The Beyonce album dropped. That's a banger. And then, yeah, Godzilla Kong, The New Empire. Definitely go check that out. So with that, we can get plugged and get up out of here.
All right. So we got ourselves our Instagram, our Twitter, or X, formerly known as Twitter, and our Threads account under BlurredCity22. Like, comment, subscribe, give us all that good info, and be able to, be up to date on future episodes. We got our YouTube and our Patreon under Blurred City Pod. If you want to come donate some cheddar, get access to very exclusive episodes never before seen and never will be seen. Then after that, we got ourselves our Discord, which if you want to join the fine community of degenerates, that's linked in the Instagram page. Then we also have our email, blurredcity22@gmail.com, for episode suggestions, for just comments, and then for cancellations, and as well as just whatever wherever you want to send in, it'll probably go to the suggestion box, which will never be read. I'm just not even gonna hold you about that. But yeah, as for personal page, I am the Jedi Ronin on Instagram and TikTok, however long we got TikTok. And then finally, yeah, that's what I have. What you got?
All right, just for quick housekeeping. So for next week, we are going to be interviewing our boy Carl from CDM Games. So that's going to be a dope time. Checking that out, just talking about gaming, his gaming channel, and different aspects about that. So for my individual author pages, my Instagram is Mitri_dash, METRI_DASH. For my X, formerly known as Twitter, that is at the Mad-16. If you're interested in my book, Phantom Reckoning, A Most Irregular Tale, that is available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. So with that, we will leave you with some words of encouragement.
So my main words of encouragement is that we just have that Godzilla energy, you know what I'm saying? Whenever you just mind your own business, you know, just go around, do what you got to do. And then whenever you come across some ops, just make sure you dive head first towards them, give them that suplex, and then send them to meet they ancestors in the afterlife as needed. And of course, channel your inner Rose. That's all I got. Because again, what's a king to a god?
Yes, speaking of kings, in this movie, Kong really didn't start most of the fights, but he did finish them. So in life, whether it be physical, mental, emotional, or different challenges that pop up, finish the fight and keep that timing. So like I said, it's not goodbye forever, it's goodbye for now. And that's the Dark Seed Podcast.
See ya later.